Now to start, what we do is we blend our flours. We're going to be working with buckwheat flour and tapioca flour. Now buckwheat flour is actually derived from a seed, not wheat, so the name is a little misleading. I love working with it because it's really nutritious, it's high in fibre and protein, and whenever I'm working with buckwheat flour, I like to blend it with a neutral white flour. And the reason I do this is on its own, buckwheat can have quite a bit of flavour, so you don't want to have bitter notes. So I like to use tapioca or rice flour. So for this recipe, I'm going to use tapioca, which is derived from the cassava plant. So it's great in bread because it gives you a really beautiful, light, springy texture. So both our flours are in. To that, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. Now, you can find this in health food stores, and most supermarkets actually sell it in the health food aisle. Xanthan gum gives your dough beautiful stretch, as the name suggests, it's gummy, and you'll know you've used too much because you'll get little gummy bits in your bread. So a little goes a long way, so just be cautious with that. About 2 teaspoons of sea salt flakes. So they're all our dry ingredients. I'm just going to pop that in the mixer and bring it all together. Okay, our dry ingredients are combined. All we need to do now is add our wet ingredients. So I've got a yeast mixture here. This is simply 300 ml of lukewarm water, and to that I've added a 7-gram sachet of yeast and a teaspoon of sugar to help activate it, and that's been sitting there for about 15 minutes. And you want it nice and foamy. You know the yeast is going to be nice and light and fluffy for your bread. So you just pour that straight in. To that we're going to add 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to keep our bread nice and moist. I'm going to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. It just helps kickstart the bread and rise it. And then I'm also going to add 2 eggs. I'm just going to whisk them lightly and throw them in. This is going to keep our bread really nice and moist. And it also helps bind our mixture. When you're working sans gluten, eggs are a great ingredient to use because it does help bind ingredients together. Go straight in. Now, our last ingredient is 3 tablespoons of chia seeds. You can use a white chia seed or a black chia seed, it doesn't matter. They're a great superfood, full of antioxidants, protein and fibre. I'm just going to bring that together. Okay, our batter's ready. The next step is to just line this tin with some olive oil, and I'm just going to pour it in there, give it a good brush. And then I'm going to sprinkle the base with some chia seeds. This is going to form a beautiful, crispy, seeded crust. Now, at this stage, you can get quite creative. You don't have to use just chia. You can use linseeds or pepitas. And then just to get it around the sides, what I do is I just give it a little shake. We want a really beautifully seeded crust. We want it all the way around the sides. And now we're going to add our batter into the tin. And look at that batter. This is not a traditional bread dough. It's just like a cake batter. So that goes straight into the tin. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit for about an hour. And we want it to almost double in size. So we've got a beautiful, light, fluffy bread. Scrape all those last little bits in. I'm just going to smooth that out. And we're going to sprinkle some extra chia seeds on top. So be really generous here, because what happens is when this bread rises, it inflates and the chia seeds get stuck into the little grooves. So I'm sprinkling quite a bit on, as you can see. And after an hour, that's going to rise. I want the bread to almost double in size, and then we're going to pop it in a 200-degree oven for 45 minutes. Our gluten-free bread has risen beautifully. I'm just going to drizzle some extra virgin olive oil on top, because I want a beautiful golden crust when we pull it out of the oven. Our bread's cooled, and I'm going to slice into that now, just to show you how soft and bouncy it is. Look at that beautiful crust. I just want to show you the inside. Look how soft and bouncy that bread is. That is just gorgeous. I'm going to cut another slice just to show you how delicate this loaf is. I'm going to rip into this bread and get dunking in some olive oil. That's the only way in my household. That is a beautiful gluten-free bread. It's so light and soft and bouncy. Once you've made this once and you see just how easy it is, you'll be making it weekly just like I do.